Okay, Tyler, here we go. I sent you a message on my Facebook page to, send me your cell number, because if you can get a cell, it can go to the phone as well. The phone's kind of a nice place to have it, because if you go out working on your gaming, you have it right there with you. But you're obviously a low handicap player. You have a very good golf swing. I ask you online also what bad shot you tend to hit. And the only problem I'll have with this video is the fact that the camera has a very poor capture rate of speed. I think you'd be surprised at how little you can get a camera for now that has a good capture rate. You can get 60 frames a second and more for $300 or so now in some of these cameras. And those of you who are really into golf and are good at golf and are going to work with an instructor should consider that investment, because it really doesn't help us to know to see it at this high speed, because we lose sight of the club face. I'm teaching you live. I can get a good idea of your ball flight and your club face at various points in the swing. But with this camera at this speed, it's very difficult. So that's a consideration. Also here on the left, I should move the camera back a little bit because I can't quite see your ball position. It looks like it's inside of your heel there, but that would be key. The setup, the posture is excellent. Weight is very balanced. Grip is fairly neutral. Take a look at that. Yeah, it's fairly neutral. Now, when I say neutral, that doesn't mean always correct, because the grip has to match the action in the swing. But it's in a conventional position, let's put it that way. Okay, you start your action back here. We'll start slow. Take it a little bit away from yourself, a little bit outside. See, here's where I mean by the blur. I can't see what that face looks like at that first position there. But I'll give you my take on this, and you feel free, if you can get your hands on a better camera, to send me another one. I won't charge you for the other one, but I'd like to see it in a better speed. So let's take a look at this. So the first thing you want to do is check that as you mentioned, the thing, I guess you've been told or you've seen it on video, you get your hands a little bit behind you. Let me go down to about there. So if I have an incline, original shaft plane of 55, 56 degrees, and that only moved up to about 61 degrees, your hands are traveling on a fairly flat plane. They're mid-body here, but they are going around a little bit. If they were going more up, you'd see about 8 degrees of change from the original shaft plane line to the hand line, and that would be about the tour average. So it's a little flat hand path there, and it's a little flatter hand path there, and then I check it at the top, and the deviation now is even less from that middle one. So you're looking at you'd want to get about 15 degrees in total, maybe 7 or 8 halfway back, and then another 4 or 5 up on an average. I don't know how tall you are, but and it's one plane, so to speak. You can see where your left forearm is pretty much on the same pitch as your shoulders. I'm okay with that, as long as it has a matching action coming down, and I'll explain that in a minute. So that's pretty good. The hands are a little bit deep and a little bit flat. And take a look at that again. Here, let me bring you up to about halfway back. Here, and we'll draw a little circle there, and you're going to see something about your action coming down here. That's good. Your hands are going pretty much right back to where you were at halfway back. The hands are a little deep here. I like the mid-body. I'd probably like them right out about the end of your shirt collar there, but they're not that deep. And again, the speed of the camera has even your hand path blurred, and your hands aren't traveling very fast at all, so that's an issue. But, you know, where's the club pointed? The club's The club is pointed at a pretty good position, a little bit laid off, a little bit flat. It's out here. So your action is fairly flat, and it looks like it's a little bit inside out. I guess if I had you on TrackMan or FlightScope, or if you have one in this PGA Tour store that you're in, they might have a path issue on you if they've got a pretty good radar. But clearly the area of your swing which lacks, because of your action, which is kind of flat, I wouldn't call it flat, I would call it probably pretty much on plane. You don't look that tall. You're probably, I don't know, I'm guessing 5'9", 5'10" by looking at this. So this action is pretty good. I like the one plane action right here. But what you're going to need to work on your game, if you have this type of a motion going back, is you can't afford a sliding motion coming down, or you can't afford to be inactive altogether. You see your body right here? There's just no turn through with it at all. Even when you go past impact, there's not much rotation of your body. Yeah. I'll show you a comparative thing on that. So my first suggestion would be to set you a little bit open. You have to send me your TrackMan or your FlightScope readings if you can get them. I'd set you a little bit open, and I'd work by moving your body, because I'm guessing that you might be guilty of some hooks or some blocks with the action you got. Well, now go over here, and if I take a model video, I'll take it. That's right about impact for you, or very close to impact. And if you see, who do we have here? Well, Adam Scott's hitting a driver, but Justin Rose. And I'll bring him down to impact, and you can see more of the rotation of the body. See, I'm seeing more of the backside, seeing more of the back. And he's going to be able to take the swing more to the left. You're taking your swing to the left, but you're doing it more with your arms than you are with your body. Now your body's joining the dance. I'd like to get the body open a little bit earlier, because by getting the body open a little bit earlier, we'd probably hold this face off. You might be hitting some pulls with a shut face, because it's hard to support the club face without the proper rotation. If you think about it the principle behind this is the more your body's rotating, the slower your hands are going to turn the club face over. So if you are fighting some hooks, I'd really like to see your body getting active in this here. So let's take a look at you from the side here. And let's take Rory here. Again, your grip is good. Your setup is excellent. You're very balanced. There's no real issues with, top heavy or heel heavy. So this all looks pretty good. He plays with a distinctive D-loft. I can't see again the ball, but this might be an issue. You might have the hands a little bit behind where you have the ball. So if you're having trouble hitting down on it, that might be an issue. But from this side, the way I look at it is this. I try to build you a little box here, see how you're doing with this. I don't think there's going to be any problem here, though. Then I'm going to look at you here. You have a little rehearsal, which I like. See, that's the other thing. I couldn't see that club face at position 1. Because that tells us a lot. We can tell by your forearm sometimes in this position. It looks pretty classic, though. I mean, I don't see much of a problem there. you're very much over the ball, very little motion to the right. Now your right arm's going to show up a little bit because of the flatness. Yep. So you're in the box. You got a good turn, good center of pressure and mass here in your backswing. But again, from here, what I'd like to see is the hips. As you come down, you can see that turn. See that rotation there? That's what we want to get some of in your golf swing. See, there's a slide. You'd be able to slide like that. You'd be able to have that lateral motion forward if your hands were higher at the backswing. But with this position, it doesn't work. If you were tall and you were getting your leverage from high up, you'd need the lateral sliding motion of your body in this direction, so that you could drop your hands into place. But when you work on your action, you have to keep your hands where they are. You can't let them get any lower, because that's when you're going to get underplaned. So there's a little too much lateral. The hips are staying closed a little too long. And it looks like your release is fairly early. You see, I need a better speed camera to do this justice. So it really looks like your release is fairly early, which would be yet another reason to get your body out of the road earlier, really get your body turning. It's not like you're flipping the club over, but I mean, this camera is really one of the worst I've seen in terms of speed, capturing the speed. But you're staying behind the ball. And now your motion's pulling you through. It looks like you have some very good speed to it. So if you look at the balance position, you're great, but I would have liked to have gotten you open a little bit earlier. So that's my initial assessment, that your transition move does not match your backswing plane right now. We've got you on a medium to flat backswing, which really requires to get your hands back out in front of you. You need a turning motion of your body, not a sliding motion of your body. The difference in I did one on my website on my GolfWorks column. I don't know if you saw that column by me, where I was comparing Brian Harman and Colin Montgomery, the two winners from last week. Colin has that sliding action because he's very vertical coming down, and Brian has that turning action because he brings it in on a much lower plane. Those are matching components. You'll hear me talk a lot about in my blog and in my teaching about compatible variations in your golf swing. When the club goes around, the body has to come back around. I wouldn't even limit it to my hips. I'd think my chest to get open as early as I could. And I'd probably open your stance a little bit too, so you could feel that. So, but again, you have to write me. It's DennisClarkGolf@gmail is the best way to get me. And write me and let me know what ball flight you're hitting, and then work on this for a couple of weeks and send me another. Or if you find a better speed camera to capture this, send me another one right away, and I'll take care of it for you. Okay? All right. I hope that gives you some direction and some answers for what you're looking for, and I'll be talking to you down the road.